I want to push back on one of the most damaging ideas in the personal development space. The idea that discipline is a personality trait, that some people have it and some people don't, that it's something you develop through suffering and repetition until it becomes part of who you are. I think that framing is wrong, and I think it keeps a lot of people stuck in a cycle of trying harder at the wrong things. And here's what I mean. When I was 285 pounds, people assumed I lacked discipline, and from the outside, that probably looked pretty accurate. I wasn't exercising consistently, my nutrition was poor, my sleep was inconsistent, and my recovery was non existent. But here's the thing, I wasn't undisciplined, I was unarchitected. The difference matters enormously. An undisciplined person doesn't care enough to try. I cared deeply, I tried repeatedly. I started over time and time again, more times than I can count. An unarchitected person cares, but hasn't built the systems that make consistent action sustainable. They're relying on willpower, which is finite and an unreliable source, instead of design. That was me for years. And let me show you what I mean with a concrete example. When I started my transformation in protocol in February of 25, I didn't try harder. I didn't white knuckle it, through the cravings or force myself to go to the gym on days I didn't feel like it. I redesigned the architecture. Nutrition. I built a precision macro protocol that removed decision fatigue from eating. Every meal had a structure. I wasn't deciding what to eat 3 times a day based on how I felt. I had a system that removed that decision entirely. Training. I stopped training on a fixed schedule and started training to my readiness score. Whoop and Aura gave me the daily readiness number, and I trained when the number supported it. I recovered when it didn't. That decision was made by data, not motivation. Recovery. I built cold exposure and sleep protection into my daily non-negotiables. Not because I felt like doing them, but because the architecture of my day made them the default, not the exception. The result was that discipline became almost automatic, not because I developed more willpower, but because I built systems that made the right behavior the path of least resistance. And here's the framework I want you to take from this. Every behavior you're struggling with to maintain consistency is either an identity problem or an architecture problem. If you've made the identity decision, if you've genuinely decided who you are, and you're still struggling to be consistent, it's almost certainly an architecture problem. Your environment is working against you. Your schedule doesn't protect what matters the most. Your systems create friction when there should be ease. The defaults led to wrong behaviors. The solution isn't to try harder. The solution is to redesign the environment. Here are 3 architecture questions I ask every coaching client at the start of our engagement. Question 1. What in your current environment makes the wrong behavior the easy behavior? Now, this could be the food in your house that doesn't support your goals, a schedule that doesn't protect training time, a bedroom that doesn't support sleep, a phone that's the first thing you reach for in the morning. Whatever it is, identify it. The environment is always working for you or against you. There's no neutral. Question 2. What would need to be true about your daily structure for the right behaviors to happen almost automatically? Not through effort, through design. The right food is the only food available. Nutrition becomes easier. If training is calendared and non-negotiable before the day starts, it happens. If your phone is out of the bedroom, sleep improves. Design the conditions first. Question 3. What are you relying on motivation when you should be relying on systems? Motivation is useful for starting, but unreliable for sustaining. Every place in your life where you're counting on feeling motivated to follow through is a vulnerability. Replace the motivation dependency with a system. This is the work I do with my clients. Not motivating them, not holding them accountable and check up on your sense, but building the architecture that makes consistent actions the path of least resistance. Because when the architecture is right, discipline looks after itself. If you want to look at the architecture of your own situation, what's working against you, what needs to be redesigned, what systems would actually support the person you're trying to become, link is in the description. I do free 30-minute discovery calls, no pitch, no pressure, just real conversation about what's actually getting in the way. My name is Jeff. This is Becoming Lighter in Life and Mind. Subscribe if this is useful or resonates. There's a lot more coming.